TIGIT 2.0, can next-gen bispecifics finally crack the code? Despite initial disappointments with monoclonal antibodies targeting TIGIT such as 𝗕𝗟𝗏𝗘𝗦 and 𝗑𝗲𝗏𝗡, a new generation of bispecific antibodies referred to as TIGIT 2.0 generating significant interest in the immuno-oncology field. Today, we explore the market value proposition for this emerging class, assess key differentiators and leading candidates, as well as forecast peak sales potential and time to market. Our analysis reveals a potentially attractive opportunity with moderate clinical signals emerging. However, pivotal phase 3 trials over the next 1 to 2 years will be crucial in determining whether TIGIT 2.0 can establish a sustainable niche in the increasingly competitive IO market. 1. Market value proposition and niche potential. At its core, TIGIT 2.0 represents a paradigm shift from TIGIT 1.0 monoclonal antibodies. While traditional anti-TIGIT agents function via single checkpoint inhibition and have shown limited efficacy with moderate safety risks, TIGIT 2.0 bispecifics offer several key improvements. By combining dual checkpoint blockade, typically of PD-1 and TIGIT, these agents enable a more potent and coordinated T-cell response. Moreover, they are designed for single-agent administration, simplifying clinical protocols compared to separate infusions of anti-PD-1 and anti-TIGIT mAbs. Additionally, TIGIT 2.0 employs Fc-modified formats that demonstrate a better safety profile with lower rates of immune-related toxicities. This improved risk-benefit profile positions TIGIT 2.0 to carve out a niche in specific market segments. One promising avenue is the utilization of TIGIT-BS as a replacement for PD-1 chemo combinations in patients with PD-L1-high tumors, such as non-small cell lung cancer, NSCLC, and cervical cancer. For instance, Rilvegostomig has shown comparable efficacy to 𝗕𝗟𝗏𝗘𝗖𝗙 in early trials. Another potential niche lies in the use of these agents for patients who are refractory to checkpoint inhibitors. Here, TIGIT 2.0 could demonstrate deeper or more durable responses than PD-1 monotherapy. Furthermore, TIGIT-BS hold promise as combination regimens with VEGF inhibitors, chemotherapy, or other emerging IO agents, laying the groundwork for multimodal immunotherapy. 2. Competitive landscape and leading candidates. Currently, several companies are vying for a share of the TIGIT 2.0 market. Among them, AstraZeneca, Rilvegostomig PD-1. TIGIT-BS takes the lead with approximately 10 ongoing pivotal trials evaluating its efficacy and safety across various indications including NSCLC, cervical cancer, and other solid tumors. Early phase 1/2 data in PD-L1-high NSCLC patients showed an impressive objective response rate, or of 61.8%, and a median progression-free survival MPFS of 10.2 months, rivaling standard KEYTRUDA regimens. Notably, its Fc-attenuated format appears to reduce toxicity with manageable side effects. However, it faces stiff competition from the rising class of PD-1, the VEGF bispecifics exemplified by Amgen and Seagen as promising a 𝗕𝗏𝗦𝗘𝗧 candidate. Adjourn also has to be SABS in the works, PVZ and PV. However, early signals from these programs have been mixed. Henlius HLX301 PD-1, TIGIT-BS has shown an ORR of 32.9% in checkpoint inhibitor refractory solid tumors and a disease control rate DCR of 37.5%. However, cytokine release syndrome CRS was observed in over 30% of patients, mostly grades 1 to 2, raising safety concerns. More data from ongoing phase 2 trials are needed to confirm these findings and establish durable responses, which could position HLX301 as a second-line or later therapy, particularly in cost-sensitive markets. 3. Economic value and risk-adjusted forecast 2025-2027. Forecasting peak sales for TIGIT 2.0 proves challenging given the high risk and uncertainty surrounding this novel approach. However, we estimate rilvegostomig will reach $5 to $7 billion, driven primarily by first-line PD-L1-high NSCLC. Assuming a 65% probability of success based on current momentum and a 2026 readout from pivotal trials, its net present value NPV stands at $2.5 billion. On the other hand, 𝗕𝗟𝗚𝗓𝗢𝗚𝗬 could capture $1 to $2 billion in peak sales, mainly in emerging markets, where pricing advantages could be leveraged. We assign a 50% probability of success to this program contingent on more robust combination data and an earlier 2025 readout. The main risks stem from its liability related to CRS. Adjourn's PVZ and PV have weaker signals and are forecast to peak at under $1 billion. Their probabilities of success are around 30%, with success highly dependent on partnerships and optimized combination strategies. In terms of market access strategy, rilvegostomig should pursue accelerated approval in PD-L1-high NSCLC based on compelling early data, if first-mover advantage. Meanwhile, 𝗕𝗟𝗚𝗓𝗢𝗚𝗬 could target cost-sensitive regions like China and other parts of Asia as a competitively priced alternative to Western-developed bispecifics. Adjourn-S candidates likely need to be embedded in combination regimens and may benefit from co-development or licensing deals with larger oncology players. For future outlook and strategic predictions, between 2025 and 2026, critical phase 3 data will clarify whether 𝗕𝗓𝗘𝗢𝗓𝗘𝗧 therapies can overcome the historical roadblocks associated with TIGIT targeting antibodies. Success will hinge on their ability to outperform both existing PD-1 regimens and the rising class of PD-1, the EGF bispecifics. In the best-case scenario, rilvegostomig becomes a blockbuster asset with over $7 billion in peak sales, validating the 𝗕𝗓𝗘𝗢𝗓𝗘𝗧 paradigm. Conversely, another round of late-stage failures could render TIGIT a permanently sidelined target in immuno-oncology. In conclusion, 𝗕𝗓𝗘𝗢𝗓𝗘𝗧 bispecific antibodies represent a plausible but high-risk innovation pathway in the immuno-oncology field. AstraZeneca currently leads the charge with rilvegostomig, backed by promising early clinical efficacy and a strategic focus on high-need indications. However, the playing field remains volatile, and differentiation from emerging competitors, particularly PD-1, the EGF bispecifics, is critical. We recommend maintaining cautious optimism with a near-term focus on rilvegostomig, while diversifying bets with high-potential PD-1, the EGF bispecific programs to hedge against 𝗕𝗓𝗘𝗢𝗓𝗘𝗧 uncertainty. Thank you for watching.